No man but a blockhead ever wrote, except for money. That is one of Samuel Johnson's most famous lines. Blunt, funny, a little insulting, and still irritating to writers almost 250 years later. It sounds at first like pure cynicism, as if Johnson were saying that literature is nothing but a transaction, as if poems, essays, novels, criticism, biography, and all the rest were merely different ways of getting paid. But Johnson was not a small-minded man, and his view of writing was not small. He knew that writing could instruct, delight, console, provoke, and preserve human experience. He knew that words could outlast poverty, politics, fashion, and even the writer's own battered body. In The Rambler, he gave one of his clearest statements of what an author does. The task of an author is either to teach what is not known or to recommend known truths by his manner of adorning them, either to let new light in upon the mind and open new scenes to the prospect, or to vary the dress and situation of common objects so as to give them fresh grace and more powerful attractions, to spread such flowers over the regions through which the intellect has already made its progress as may tempt it to return and take a second view of things hastily passed over or negligently regarded. That is a magnificent defense of writing. Johnson says the writer has two tasks. The first is to teach what is not known. The second is to make known truths visible again. Most truths are not new. Love is not new. Fear is not new. Ambition is not new. Grief is not new. Vanity is not new. Failure is not new. Hope is not new. Death is certainly not new. But we forget. We pass over things hastily. We regard them negligently. The writer's task is to make us return and take a second view. That is why Johnson's famous line about money should not be treated as mere greed. He respected writing too much to pretend it was easy. Samuel Johnson was born in 1709, the son of a bookseller in Lichfield, England. He became one of the great figures of English literature, poet, critic, essayist, biographer, conversationalist, and lexicographer. His Dictionary of the English Language, published in 1755, was one of the monumental literary achievements of the 18th century. But Johnson also knew hardship. He knew illness. He knew depression. He knew debt. He knew the humiliations of depending on booksellers, patrons, publishers, and the shifting market for words. As a young writer in London, he lived close to poverty. He wrote what there was to write: essays, reviews, prefaces, biographies, political pieces, sermons, dedications, translations, and dictionary definitions. The great man of letters was also, very often, a working writer trying to survive. That matters, because when Johnson said, "No man but a blockhead ever wrote, except for money," he was not speaking from the comfort of inherited wealth. He was speaking as a man who had done the work. He knew what it meant to turn thought into sentences under pressure. He knew what it meant to sell intelligence by the page. He knew that literature might be noble, but the writer still had to eat. The remark comes to us through James Boswell's Life of Johnson. Boswell had asked Johnson about writing a book on Italy. Johnson said he did not see that he could make a book of it, but that he would be glad to get £200 or £500 by such a work. Boswell then records Johnson's strange, memorable opinion. No man but a blockhead ever wrote, except for money. Boswell himself did not fully agree. He thought many examples from literary history could refute it. And perhaps they can. People do write for love. They write for grief. They write for memory. They write for revenge. They write for God, for justice, for vanity, for art, for the dead, for the unborn, for the one person they hope will understand. But Johnson's line survives because it exposes a lie. The lie is that writing is somehow not work if the writer cares about it. The lie is that love of literature should make payment unnecessary. The lie is that the writer should be grateful merely to be read. Johnson had no patience for that. He knew that writing could be high-minded and still require payment. He knew that art could have moral purpose and still belong to the material world. He knew that books did not appear by magic, they were made by labor. And Johnson's deepest view of writing may be found in another sentence of his. The only end of writing is to enable the readers better to enjoy life, or better to endure it.